Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, then welcome to the channel. So, I'm going to start this video off. I'm still in New Haven, as the last video. Bobil Vans have been very good, been coming backwards and forwards about the 12 volt element on the boiler. They sent me a thing last night where they want me to take the boiler to pieces. So gave me some instructions. I have to drain the whole thing down, disconnect all the electricity obviously, take the boiler itself apart, get to the 12 volt element, and there's apparently a trip switch on it inside the boiler, not on the outside of the boiler. That would make more sense, but I'm not really wanting to get into that, to be honest. I fear breaking the boiler, taking it to pieces like that, and plus I'm on the road most of the time, so draining all the water down, then I've got to go and refill water up. It's not really practical. And he also said to me, right, well, if you can just connect the red and the brown wire to a 12 volt supply and the negative to a negative, then it should come on. So I'm going to try that. I'm just going to find a 12 volt feed. I know I've got a 12 volt feed sat there doing nothing. I'm going to test that with the voltmeter and see if it comes on. If it doesn't, I don't think I want to get into stripping down the boiler. Maybe I'll do it at a later date when I can park at my dad's or something like that and get into it. Maybe when I do the floor, when I rip the floor up, I can take the boiler out and do all that at the same time. Really don't want to do that. Not sure if that's a bad design fault, having the trip switch for the 12 volt element inside the boiler. Anyway, let's have a look. And of course, every time I do this, I've got to take all the cushions off. It's just a whole ring. I'm sick of having my head in here trying to fix this thing. Anyway, I've got a 12 volt feed, I know I have, sat right there, which I've taped off. That's the leads for the boiler. He said red and brown to the positive, obviously black to the negative, and then it should pop on. And that is the light there where it should pop on. So let me test this 12 volt feed first. But we got a reading of 13.16 whatever. Obviously pushing a lithium battery, so that's what the lithium battery is reading. Okay, so as crude as it is, I've got the brown, red and red together, and the two negatives just wound together there. Obviously that's not ever going to be a permanent thing, just to get this going, but nothing, it's not come on at all. So we know there's power there, it's not working. So what he's saying I need to do is I need to drain this system, take this plastic cover off here. I'll have to take all these off, that's the 12 volt element going in there. Oh man, and pop that off, and then you can get to it. I mean, that is an absolute ball ache. I don't think I'm even going to bother with any of that. I'm really disappointed, to be honest. It's never worked ever since I'd plumbed it in. I know it says 13 volts on there, not 12 volts, but we're running lithium, but they didn't say anything about it not being able to run off a lithium battery. Lithiums do run at slightly higher voltage, as we know, but it's never an issue with anything else. I don't know. Disappointed, but there you go. Maybe I'll do it at some point. Anyway, but we still have hot water off the diesel here, that's fine. And that's still leaking as well. It's supposed to be just hand tight, but I'm going to have to just give it a little notch with a wrench, because I can't do any tighter with my hand. Turned it on just to pressurise it up to make sure that it doesn't leak anymore. I just give it a tiny little turn. I did the other one as well, and as I turned it, water squirted out of it. So I've just given a tiny little nick. They're only supposed to be hand tight, so just a tiny nick, don't over tighten it. It's not leaking anywhere else, so I'm just going to run it. So the diesel heat is just kicking in. The pump won't kick in until it all starts blowing through. You may have watched the past videos, you may not, but I did disconnect the smart controller from the diesel here, because you can connect them so you can work everything off their smart controller. But the problem with it is, one, it kept tripping, and two, it kept turning off the diesel here. So in the winter, when you wanted to put the hot water on, it's fine, you put the hot water on, and then you want the diesel heater to carry on to heat the van, it would turn it all off. And there was no way around it, so I've now just I can do it just separately. If that makes sense. Sometimes the controller does trip and I have to just pull the fuse and plug it back in again. Yeah, it's this system, it's a great idea, but there's so many kinks with it. But then it is quite cheap, so less than 500 quid for the whole system with the heat exchange and the boiler and the control and everything. It was a decent price, but you get what you pay for, I suppose. So the diesel heat is kicking in, which means the pump will be on. Should be kicking in soon. Once it, because it's got a temperature gauge in there, like a sensor in there. Sorry. So when it feels the heat, the pump will come on, and then I can see if this is leaking or not. It was all wet around there. It's still. It was when I moved the pipe, it squirted out. This one did as well, but as it pumps on now, you can feel the water coming through. You can feel that vibrating. Water's going around there. It's going around all that. There's no leakage there as yet. So that's been circulating around. So I'm going to turn it off. It's getting really hot now already. Temperature's going up. It's up to 26. Right, so let's turn it off. So the diesel heater will have to go through its shutdown sequence, so it'll blow more air through there. Let it stop and then see if anything weeps out of there. Right, it's all off. It seems to be dry for the moment, so hopefully that's done that. Got a fail on the 12 volt element anyway, but yeah, we still got hot water off the diesel, that's fine. Oh, man, just arrived at Sainsbury's just up the road from where I was. Do you know what? Supermarket car parks are an absolute nightmare when you've got a motorhome, and this isn't the biggest motorhome that there is. This is 6.5 metres. But the parking bays are so unbelievably tight. I have to use two. Swinging round is just, everything's just so tight. And you think, God, why don't they build these things so that you can get larger vehicles in? We still have to go shopping as well, you know? So I've just been driving around here for about 10 minutes trying to park. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, ran over. I'm alright, I'm calm. So I'm here. Take the dog for a quick walk around this car park. I can park here for 3 hours. Says, please be aware, 3 hours free parking. So we're alright. It's 2 o'clock, I think. Picking Tracy up at 4, I believe. So I'm going to go and get my stuff I need to make myself look 10 years younger. If I ride a skateboard, I look 20 years younger. So, to answer a question, what do you do about your laundry? Well, we go to a laundrette, don't we? Which is where we are right now. Up there, Mrs. H. Is she coming? No, she's still up there. Mrs. H is in the laundrette, it's up there. We tend to use this one because Mrs. H says the machines are good here. I don't know where we are. Somewhere between Little Hampton and Chichester. Anyway, so we're just doing that, waiting for that to do, and then we're going to go to Waldy, get some supplies, and then we're going to campsite to meet Harley, my daughter. Check her channel out, make sure you subscribe. And her boyfriend Adam, and their dog Willow. And we're going to have a nice day in the sunshine, hopefully. Yay! Oh, you're a little tease, aren't you? Yeah, I see you. Ah, yes, there you are, Peter Rabbit. What are you gonna do now? You think I can't see you, don't you? I see you. Oh, yes, and there's your buddy. Haha. Nowhere to run, boys. Don't worry, I'm not actually hunting rabbits. just a fun little thing I'm doing right now. Hey, so we've left the campsite. Good time was had by all. Lovely. Strange thing has happened. We've gone to the shops across the road. Got back to the van. Van won't start. There's no indicators. There's no dash lights. There's no fan. And obviously it's cranking over but no ignition. But I do have hazard lights and I have other lights working. It's very weird. That points to fuse number 9 on the fuse board, which is over there. That's all of those things, but the fuse is fine, and I've tried a different fuse and I've tested continuity, it's fine. So a bit baffled really. I've been all through the engine, there's nothing burnt out, there's no fuses under the engine gone, there's no broken wires, nothing off, just no power to number 9 fuse, which is really weird. RSC's on their way, they're going to be about half an hour, so hopefully they can get to the bottom of it. I don't want to be towed again. But yeah, so we're just sitting here waiting for the moment. I've got to go to work later as well, so if we do need to be recovered, that's going to be a problem. My car's in Arundel, we're in Bognor, which is quite far away, so Harley, you might have to come save me. Alright, so basically this is what happened, if you're interested. The RAC man replaced quite a lot of these connections. They weren't very well done, probably due to the aftermarket power steering, which is an electronic power steering in this. He reckons whoever put that in did a bad job of it. His recommendation is to have the whole thing rewired. It's a bit excessive, I feel, but I think it just needs going through all these connections, make sure every single connection's tight, which he has practically done anyway. They're calling it a temporary fix. So the RAC are saying now if I call them out again for the same thing, they're not going to come out unless I get them to rewire it and pay them. But anyway, the main culprit was this here. Dig him out, hang on. If I can dig him out without breaking anything. Right, this one here. So this was the main culprit, and it was the blue wire. That blue wire there had come out. It literally worked its way out, and that's feeding the power to the fuses. So I only had power going to 2 fuses, all the other fuses didn't have power, and that was it basically. And he just put it all back together and made it all nice and secure, and it's been fine ever since. And even though I've wiggled that, let's have a go. It should all come on. It still comes on, yeah. So all the dash lights are on, everything's working, even though I've been pulling on it. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through all of those connections one by one. I know he's done all the loose ones anyway. Just double check they're all tight. And this block here, I could replace that, even though everything's really tight. Everything's really tight in there. So I could replace that block because that was the culprit anyway. And then I'm just going to put it all back together. Yeah, rewiring the whole thing I think is a bit excessive. I don't think it needs that. Obviously it's been good for years because the power steering was put in years ago, but obviously they're covering their ass. He was really good though. I don't know what his name was. I did go on the RAC website to see if I could compliment him, just say how great it was, because he was absolutely brilliant. He came out and he spent a lot of time on it. He got it going, and then he was like, well, I could leave it like that, but it's all a bit janky. He went, hang on a minute, and then he went and got a load of connections and did loads of connections and stuff. He didn't have to do that probably, but yeah, he was very, very thorough. Hats off to you, RAC, well done. I know my daughter's had some negative experiences with RAC. Good morning on this glorious summer, beginning of June. It's freezing, got my coat on, it's peeing down rain, there's a little bit of sun just poking out over there, but because of it I'm gonna have to go do the generator. So I'm glad I didn't put the generator in the lockup, which I said I was going to do, because we're a little bit low on power, as we've had no sun. So I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to go to Asda, get some petrol, do the generator, go to my lay-by park up to do that, and then crack on. Well, I've been sat here a couple of hours EcoFlow's just about done, so I'm going to turn that off in a sec. It's now midday, I think. Yeah, midday. So we've got a few more hours here. I'll leave the Jenny on just to charge the house battery up as well, and then we've got to drive down to Hastings. That's about an hour and a half, I think, so we get some more juice off the DC charger at the same time. So I'm going to end the video here. I know these videos aren't as interesting probably as the ones where we're travelling around, but this is just day-to-day life. This is van life for you. Talking of which, we are coming up to our first year very soon. A couple of weeks' time, I think, is our year anniversary of moving into the van full-time. So if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask us to do a video on for our 1 year, that would be really cool, because we'd like to do like a reflection video, if you like. So if there's anything you want to ask, what we've learned through the past year of doing it, because now we've gone through all the seasons, haven't we? You know, and all of that. So that would be really cool. So drop your questions in the comments if you've got any, and that video will be coming soon. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well, and to my daughter's channel as well. God bless you. See you in the next one.